Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is Montana This Morning from Montana's news leader.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us here on Montana This Morning. I'm Augusta McDonald.
And I'm Louis Stewart. Hope you're having a great start to your Thursday. I guess I walked out of my house this morning because each and every morning I go outside to start the car up. I didn't even need to. So incredibly warm out there.
It was pretty balmy for mid-February.
For mid-February, I mean, I guess we're already seeing upper 40s, even 50-degree weather this morning. However, just to our east, very cold temperatures. Those are going to move in later on today. So we are tracking some cold weather, but right now, very mild. And we are going to be watching this winter storm, though, to roll in by, we'll say this afternoon first into northwest Montana. But it's going to drop a lot of snow across the state. Anywhere in the purple and pink, those are either winter weather advisories or winter storm warnings for today and tomorrow. So for our viewing area here, West Glacier, that's going to hit the hardest snow, anywhere from 8 to 15 inches, locally up to 20 inches. Windy conditions up to 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts this afternoon. Very difficult driving conditions there on Highway 2, especially there over Marias Pass. Now, anywhere in the purple, that's a winter weather advisory. Cold air hits northwest Montana first, so that goes into place at 11 a.m. this morning. There in the Butte-Blackfoot region, that goes into place at 5 p.m. this afternoon. Valleys could see 1 to 4 inches, passes 5 to 8 inches. We'll get into these details in just a few minutes.
Alrighty, thank you, Louis. 2 men appeared in federal court on Wednesday on charges stemming from a drug raid on a Missoula home this week, and it happened in a neighborhood where people were stunned but not surprised by the police activity. I checked out the area yesterday. In the Canyon Creek neighborhood west of Missoula, months of suspicious activity did not go unnoticed. People have told me in this area it's a nice neighborhood. It's where people buy houses to raise their families. And that's why since August, the Missoula County Sheriff's Office has responded to almost 30 complaints of drug traffic and suspicious people at this house. Early Tuesday morning, neighbors told me they heard loud bangs coming from the house and saw law enforcement vehicles blocking the area as a federal SWAT team raided the residence and another structure on the property. The FBI Regional Violent Crime Task Force is a collaboration of local and federal agencies who investigate violent crimes like drug trafficking where firearms are involved. According to court documents, they have been investigating complaints about 40-year-old Alan Harwood for months now, who is listed as owning this Calistoga Lane property. He was charged in federal court Wednesday along 20-year-old Desmond Petrone, both for conspiracy to distribute 500 grams or more of methamphetamine and possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. Although no one in the neighborhood was willing to be interviewed on camera, I was told that they are still afraid for their safety as there continues to be multiple people using the house and the detached garage on the property, described in court documents as a flop house where people use methamphetamine. Court documents say they have been making trips to Washington to buy methamphetamine and are selling it in Missoula for close to 5 times more than what they could buy it for in Spokane. If you have concerns about possible drug activity in your neighborhood, contact law enforcement, and we have more information on our website about how to do that. In other court news this morning, a federal jury in Billings convicts a Missoula man of trafficking women and minors for sex and other crimes following an interstate investigation. The panel found 35-year-old Terrence Tyrell Edwards guilty on all 10 counts against him. The jury deliberated about 4 hours over 2 days before reaching the verdicts by late morning. The trial lasted 8 days. He faces a minimum mandatory 15 years to life in prison and a $250,000 fine on the sex trafficking crimes. Edwards will be sentenced June 21st. Continuing coverage, the father of 3 missing boys in Michigan says the bones found in Missoula this fall are not the remains of his children, but it will take DNA testing to determine that. A cleaning crew found a box containing skeletal remains in a shed on the 2100 block of South 12th Street West that included a partial human jawbone and other bone fragments. The discovery got the attention of police in Michigan, who are looking for 3 brothers who vanished in 2010. Their father is in prison in connection to that case. He recently told a Detroit TV station that those bones are not those of his 3 boys, Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner. They were last seen in 2010 after John Skelton failed to return them to his estranged wife after a visit. He later claimed that he gave the boys away to protect them from their mother. In Ravalli County this morning, Darby School Superintendent Lloyd Reneker will retire after 24 years with the school district. During his time at Darby, Reneker was a real jack of all trades for his alma mater. He served as the principal at both the high school and the elementary school. He was also the school's athletic director and coached football and basketball. Reneker leaves big shoes to fill, but he believes that someone out there can do it.
If I've learned one thing about schools, that everybody's replaceable. I think the thing I brought to the job was an investment. I love Darby Schools. I graduated from here. I believe in what we're doing here, and so you maybe can't replace all of that, but there are people that can do all the things I've done.
While Reneker is retiring, he will go right back to work helping run cattle on his family's ranch. Montana Governor Steve Bullock is approaching the second half of his final term in office. With the 2018 midterm elections and the next legislature on the horizon, MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison sat down with the governor this week to ask what he has in mind for his home stretch.
As Governor Bullock begins 2018, his administration is enacting $76 million in budget cuts approved by the legislature last November in response to a shortfall of state tax revenue. We asked the governor if the state needs more revenue, and if so, where to get it. Bullock says yes to more revenue, but had no specifics for what he's working on or may propose to the legislature next year.
So we'll be looking at both some of the smaller piecemeal and other things that we ought to be doing going forward. As far as what it will include, that this will be a process that we'll be looking at over the upcoming months going into the 19 legislative session, but sort of all the specific pieces of it, now we don't have that ironed out.
Another big agenda item for Bullock is Medicaid expansion, which now covers 91,000 low-income adults in Montana with mostly free government-funded health care. It's up for renewal next year, and many Republicans who control the legislature are asking how the state will pay its share of the cost going forward. Bullock says the state absolutely should continue the program, but again, no specifics on how.
At this point, I'm hopeful that folks can come together and say that what a difference it's made for Montana. It's just like it's made a difference in 32 states around the country. What a difference it's made for those that used to not have any health care.
On the economy, the governor says Montana is doing well on his watch and that he'll continue to emphasize workforce training programs and education to fill jobs in demand. As for the state budget, Bullock regrets having to make these new cuts, but says the GOP legislature pretty much tied his hands on what he could do by putting the cuts into law during the special session.
It has been a bit frustrating for me at times, certainly, because people's lives are impacted. People's lives are certainly impacted by when the legislature doesn't provide the base funding for the services that Montanans expect.
We also asked the governor about his political future, including the talk among some that he's considering a run for president in 2020.
2020 is a long way away. I have a big job and I'm enjoying governing each and every day. A year into my second term and I'm not figuring out what I'm going to be doing once I'm done with this job.
So, at least on some things, we know what the governor wants. But as to how he's going to get there, on that part, he's not really telling us yet. Mike Dennison, MTN News, at the Capitol.
Montana's Democratic U.S. Senator John Tester said Wednesday that a bipartisan budget deal forged by the Senate continues federal funding for community health clinics across Montana and the nation, but it's not clear yet if the larger deal has the votes to get through Congress. Tester spoke Wednesday with Montana reporters and also had several officials from Montana clinics on the line as well. He said the deal extends funding for community health centers for another 2 years and also has money for a program to train physicians to serve in rural areas. More than a dozen centers in Montana serve thousands of low-income patients each year. Montana's Republican U.S. Representative Greg Gianforte voted Tuesday for a budget bill that includes money for the health centers. Through a spokesman, Gianforte said he'll see what the Senate version of the bill looks like before deciding how to vote. Tester acknowledged that the bill's final fate remains uncertain, but said he's hopeful if the Senate shows it can support the longer-term budget deal that the House will follow.
After weeks of hard work, it now appears that we're close to the finish line. This budget agreement, which increases funding for our community health centers for 2 years, also increases funding for teaching health centers, which is important. Now, I will tell you that 2 years is a good start, but there is still much more that needs to be done.
A vote on that bill isn't expected until later today at the earliest. Top stories this morning, President Trump is calling on Congress to support the bipartisan budget deal reached in the Senate Wednesday. The massive agreement funds the government for the next 6 weeks and raises spending on military and domestic programs over the next 2 years. Congress has until midnight to pass some sort of a budget deal or risk another government shutdown. Vice President Pence says the U.S. will soon hit North Korea with the toughest and most aggressive sanctions yet over its nuclear program. The threat came on the same day the North's foreign ministry said they had no intention of meeting with U.S. officials at the Winter Olympics in South Korea. Mr. Pence is leading the U.S. delegation at the Olympics, which open on Friday. And millions of Philadelphia Eagles fans will be on hand for the team's victory parade. The Eagles won their first Super Bowl championship Sunday after defeating the New England Patriots 41-33. All government offices and schools in Philadelphia are closed today. Joining us now in the Storm Tracker Weather Center, meteorologist Louis Dortch has the latest. Louis.
Thank you, Augusta. Good morning, everyone. Wow. Crazy change in temperatures across the state this morning. Look how warm it is here in western Montana. 48 Hamilton, 44 Missoula, 47 Polson, 40 degrees in Kalispell. We're at 49 Thompson Falls, 36 St. Regis, 40 Phillipsburg, 36 in Seeley Lake. And then here's where the cold air is here in Cut Bank and Great Falls. That is going to slide first into northwest Montana this afternoon, then slide into west central and southwest Montana later on tonight. But another pretty mild day is in store for us. As we take a look at our radar, very light rain and some high elevation snow showers are going to continue for today. We see some light rain around Missoula, down towards Stevensville and Hamilton. Some light rain around St. Ignatius, maybe a rain-snow mix here in Seeley Lake. We have some rain around Thompson Falls and Superior. And then in northwest Montana, light rain for the valleys this morning. Here's where all the snow is right now in the glacier region, and this is going to continue for today. This is where we're going to see the most significant snowfall, where places like West Glacier could pick up anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of snow. Higher elevations, Marias Pass could pick up possibly 2 feet of snow. So really significant weather is moving in. However, we're going to have to wait a while for places like Hamilton. Hour by hour forecast. Look how warm it's going to be today. Just some light scattered rain showers. 56 degrees is going to be that high temperature by this afternoon. Now, northwest Montana, here's your hour by hour forecast. Great backdrop photo by Shiloh. Shiloh, thank you for that one. 40 degrees through the early afternoon with some rain showers. Then by late afternoon, we'll say middle late afternoon, temperatures are going to start dropping as the cold front moves through. Winds pick up, and that changes over to a rain-snow mix, then all snow by this evening. So how much snow are we talking about? Well, not a lot for the valleys, all right? So we're not talking about a lot of snow for the valleys. Here's some numbers right here. Notice just around 2 to 4 inches possibly in Kalispell, 2 to 4 in Polson, Glacier region. That's where we're going to see the lot of snow. But what we are going to be dealing with is the winds. So the snow is going to be some blowing snow, and that's going to create some difficult driving conditions. Around 2 to 3 inches possible in Missoula by tomorrow, 1 to 2 in Hamilton, 2 to 4 there in Phillipsburg. 7-day forecast for Missoula, 47 today, 28 tomorrow, 30 Saturday, 33 by Sunday. Kalispell 43 today, 21 on Friday, 27 Saturday, 30 on Sunday, and Hamilton 56 today, 35 with snow Friday, 34 on Saturday.
Alrighty, thank you, Louis. Good to be with you all this Thursday morning. We'll be back right after this. Here's first your birthday shout outs.